Hello everyone and welcome to another cast by the SC Chronicles. As always, Truth here with
RB3K.
So this is another game that we got from Team Liquid starring Trump, and Masq is his opponent, another nice famous person just recently after he had his battles with the high level players. So Trump versus Masq right here, maybe two very soon to be YouTube favorite famous players.
Yeah, no, our Masq videos against Hydra have gotten huge hits on YouTube, so if anything, search for Masq and you'll find this game, search for Trump and you'll also find this game, so hopefully they'll make us famous by proxy.
So yeah, we do have a TVT here on a map, which name we do not know.
Well, we should have really checked that, whatever, that's fine, because this is a brand new map for StarCraft. There's really not much to say because we don't know the name.
Yeah, so we can explore the map and the doodads. It does look like it's a pretty open map. Looks like Zerg might like it a lot because a lot of open fields, not many chokes. There are some few ramps. There's Zelnaga Watchtower, and we do have some chit chat going on between the two. But right now, nothing spiffy is gonna go on. So let's just explore the map.
Let's explore the map. All right. So the natural expansion on this map, maybe, yeah, actually, it's got two openings exactly the same way as on Kulos Ravine. So Zerg may not like the natural expansion, but other than that, this map really looks like it'd be awesome for Zerg players because look at all this open area right here. Huge battles can occur, and Zerg would just love this. They'd eat this up, and there is purple dildos on this map.
Glad you can point that out. And there are two gold expansions on a 1 vs 1 map, which I've never been really fond of having two gold expansions, especially on a 1 vs 1, because most maps with two gold expansions are a 4-man map. So this maybe it is a 4-man map. No, it can't be. It's not mirrored properly. So yeah, there are some expansions with a big ramp and destructible rocks. The gold expansions are covered by destructible rocks.
Yeah.
Or is there any brush in the corner of a base though? That seems to be a staple with new maps.
Not at all,
no,
actually. Nothing.
They haven't put any brush in the corners with the little hide things here sign. So maybe they're starting to get away from all that because I really didn't really like that too much.
I love this from Trump right now. Where's your scout mask? I could be cheesing you, bro. My Rax can hold it. He's telling him his build. It's a bad move, Trump. Bad move. I mean, Masq. Bad move.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that actually Masq and a scout. Usually, a lot of high-level players do like to scout just so they don't get double gated or something. But I guess he does know his opponent is Terran and probably won't do some double Rax proxy because once you're in the higher levels, people tend to stay away from the cheese.
It'd be funny if you just drop double Rax right here and just pump in Marines and Marauders right into the base. That'd be horrible.
Yeah. So Masq doesn't scout. Cheese him every game.
That's a good strat right there. Masq sending out a Marine to scout, something that can fire back instead of an SCV. Sending it to one of the Zelnaga Watchtowers. Gets a nice view, actually. If you look on the minimap, gets a big chunk of the map right this way. He's able to basically see anything walking around this way, because either that or you walk behind the destructible rocks.
Can you actually see the other gold expansion? Because that'd be key.
So, yeah. No, actually, nah.
No, you won't be able to see it. So actually, that Zelnaga Watchtower won't show you the second gold expansion that your opponent will be taking. So, it's not, if it could see that, then it'd just be a clutch Zelnaga Watchtower. Then you'd always want that one.
Yeah, exactly. If these Zelnaga Watchtowers would kind of switched in their vertical positions, this Zelnaga Watchtower would be able to see this, and it'd be very clutch.
Yeah, so this map has a lot of expansions, and it's kind of new. I haven't actually played it yet. I haven't played a lot of 1 vs 1 so far. I've just did my placements and played a few rounds and played a few 2 vs 2 with friends.
Yeah, we got our armory actually coming up for Masq back at base. Let's go back here. Armory being built. Where is it?
So it looks like Masq is doing the 1-1-1 build with an army, so he probably will go for Thor drop. As we look over at Trump's base, he's going for 1-1-1 as well. So mirrored plays right now, but Trump isn't getting his army right now, so he won't be getting any Thors. He probably will stick with the more siege tank Viking army the way it looks right now.
Exactly.
As we do have our first engagement right now, as the Marines come up, that Hellion didn't quite get enough shots in or any in the beginning, so he kind of just let his Marine buddies die, and he does roast one Marine in revenge.
Look at that thing. Just a burning corpse. Yeah, that Hellion actually did absolutely nothing in that last engagement except for that one Marine kill. If that Hellion was up a little bit higher and able to do something, this battle probably would have ended off with these 4 Marines gone and Trump having to use the siege tank to protect his base.
I don't know if the Marines would die, but a few, if all 4 of those Marines would die, but a few more Marines might have been shot down. But a Marine here and there is not that big of a deal. So we do look like we have our staple Terran versus Terran army, a few Marines that you pump out early, a siege tank with siege mode coming up, and a Viking to scout because tanks can't shoot as far as they can see, and the Viking gives you vision.
Yeah, exactly. We actually do have a Thor coming out. Is there a medvac? Medvac's already done for Masq here, so we are gonna see probably a Thor ship build from this. Trump comes in with his White Viking to try and snipe down that medvac, which runs away just as the Thor spawns.
Yeah, this door probably is enough to defend against that tank and those handful of Marines with a few SCVs repairing it. He really needs to keep that Viking alive so he can keep vision, or to, to shoot down that medvac so it can't pull the Thor away in in a desperate situation.
Exactly. That Viking is actually probably going home to get repaired. Trump does have 2 tanks right now, and there is a Thor ship flying. This is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, the Thor does get dropped, and he has to be very careful. Those Marines can shoot the medvac, so having the medvac very slow moving and flying around, the Viking has returned, and it does take down the medvac.
Ouch! That was a horrible thing for Masq right there, losing that Thor and that medvac by those Marines. Very nicely done by Trump though.
And Masq does express his frustration and tells him to fuck him.
Another Thor popping out. This will keep this push from coming up the ramp. Although Trump is sieging up his tanks, and he does have the ability to shoot up to here if he did have the Viking up in the air.
Yeah, so he does lose that Viking. Having that Viking alive would be very helpful right now, but that Thor takes him a lot of hits right now from that siege tank. If he had a medvac right now, he could taxi his door right up next to the siege tank and take it out, but he did lose it, and just as Trump lost his his Viking
and 1 siege tank, so that was a pretty even exchange in terms of what actually happened in the last little bit. Units lost, yeah, 7 and 8, and although Masq did lose more in terms of his resources because of the medvac and the Thor in the medvac, it's been pretty even thus far.
Yeah, the Thor being 500 resources because it's 300 minerals, 200 gas is pretty hefty of a toll to take, and the little army gets scared away with 1 Viking floating nearby.
Yeah, Masq is grabbing his expansion right now, whereas Trump is grabbing his gas before his command center lands, which is I wouldn't do that. It was preemptive.
Premature, like RB.
Ouch! Ouch! Okay, we're gonna cheap shots now. All right, next game, man. Next game.
It shouldn't have started anything. No, that is downhill from here.
It is downhill from here. Our cast has become us insulting each other. Nice move by. Well, not even a nice move. What am I saying? I am so bored right now. No, I'm not.
So yeah, Masq is trying to saturate his expansion just as Trump is, and Trump is moving out another sizable, not sizable, a few more tanks and Marine.
You just look at Marine looking at those dildos. It made me laugh.
He's just fascinated by that.
Fascinated.
Just as RB is.
RB is very fascinated. It makes me lol.
So yeah, we should be seeing a lot more Vikings and Marauders come in because Masq is going very Thor heavy. So Trump could get more Viking tanks and Marauders.
The tanks and Marauders would do really well against the Thors, exactly, because basically they would just rape the shit out of these. And that Thor lands just to take out that 1 Marine. That was hilarious. Did you see that helmet fly over that way?
Yeah, that helmet went for a walk right there. So the Thor is running back home to get repaired because he did take some damage, or the medvac is, either one of the two.
No, I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
no, it didn't take any damage at all. Medvac took a little bit of damage.
Off to random tangents. So it looks like we do have 4 Raxes with Tech Labs coming down to pump out as many Marauders as he can. He wants to get a really anti-armor army going. Anti-armor army. Yes.
That's a good way to put it. He does have a ton of Vikings coming out also. It's probably to keep the medvacs at bay, because if the second a Thor ship does land back here, it is going to take a shit on this mineral line.
Yeah, you really want to be careful of taxing Thors and running into your mineral line, and as well running into your siege tanks, because once the Thor gets in close and your tanks are sieged up and they can't fire at it, it really goes to town on your troops. So these Vikings provide vision and just keep map control right now. He knows that his opponent is going Thor ships and flying around a lot, so wants to try to snipe down as many medvacs taxing Thors as he can, because it'll really put a dent in his resources.
Yeah, Masq just got concussive shells for his Marauders. He doesn't have many. He only has 4 now, but he didn't have many that early into the game, so I guess that's why he waited for his concussive shell. Just finished stim. Masq a little bit slower than Trump. So we should be seeing a hefty, basically a force come out and attack, because once with the timing push with that stim should be very, very soon.
Yeah, there are +1s as well coming in for Masq, and Masq is trying to grab his 3rd expansion as Trump is actually flying around trying to see if he actually has a 3rd expansion coming up. And I think Masq actually caught a glimpse of the command center because he's putting a supply depot down, blocking the natural 3rd expansion really over in the corner. So that building will not really do much besides be very annoying when that command center floats over. And it'll just take one little Thor stroll over there to shoot that thing down. But then again, just delay those few crucial seconds so you can get your army in position. Because this expansion is on low ground with a lot of cliffs surrounding it. So tanks, in the high ground behind the mineral line can really, take advantage of this spot. It's not the best spot for expansion, really.
Two Marauders on a date right now to the Zelnaga Watchtower. They want to see the scenery.
Yeah, it's a new map. Everyone wants to check it out for a little bit. And it looks like Trump finally decides to push out right now. He's got a sizable force of Marauders and tanks. We're looking over the units tab. There are 5 tanks and 18 Marauders. And against 2 Thors, I don't really know if Masq can hold on to this. Trump's army is pretty sizable right now. Once those tanks siege up and those Vikings cover the air, so Thors can't really be dropped in close, this is going to be a very slow crawl, a slow death for Masq here.
Yeah, exactly. Unless he tries and flanks these units, but then again, these siege tanks have a huge surround as to what they can and can't attack.
Yeah, Masq kind of losing a little bit of control of his army, running in his army to fight those other Marauders, but is getting shelled down by the siege tanks as he slowly moves back. And those medvacs did try to drop one Thor down, but it was cut off really quickly by those Marauders, so he didn't really get as much damage as he wanted to, and lost that that Thor and medvac.
Yeah, I think Trump only lost 1 tank in that engagement and one tank is at half HP, but he's slow crawling his tanks slowly up, and he's probably gonna just decimate this expansion because there's really not much that Masq has here in way of units that can do anything.
Masq did try to diversify the TVT a little bit by not making any siege tanks, but really straying away from the norm and taking on this many Marauders and siege tanks without any long-range attackers isn't the best idea. As we go for another engagement here, as Trump's Marauders are going to town on Masq's Marauder. He just doesn't have the funds to really keep this up right now, and he does lose it.
Yeah, Trump just took that game quite handily. Very nicely played by Trump. Masq actually, I don't know if it was a bad play, but you know what? Just going straight up Thors with no siege tanks as backup really doesn't help at all.
Yeah, Trump really took advantage of Masq's low-range attackers, and he took advantage of disabling Masq's mobility by making a lot of Vikings for vision and dropping those medvacs. So maybe TVT will stay as a Viking tank war for a little bit while longer.
Until we see something cool happen.
Yeah, because Masq's Thor ship didn't quite work out the best.
Alright, this has been another game by the SC Chronicles. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.